friends. Welcome again to all of you on my channel. And first, I know that there was a big gap from the last video to this video, but next time we'll take care. And during this gap, I was just planning that what I need to let you know about Agile and Scrum, which is obviously my favorite topic. सो मैं आप सब लोगों से अगेन सॉरी बोलूँगा बिकॉज लास्ट वीडियो से इस वीडियो में थोड़ा सा गैप हो गया, बट नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं इस चीज़ को टेक केयर करूँगा कि आपके पास और डेली नैप और जल्दी से जल्दी आपके पास अपडेट आते रहें, सो आपकी नॉलेज और इन्हांस होती रहे, सो यू कैन इंक्रीज योर नॉलेज बिकॉज आई बिलीव टू शेयर द नॉलेज वट एवर आई हैव. So friends, welcome to all of you and thank you so much for watching this video first. And if you have not subscribed the channel, please do it because in future a lot of contents are going to come which will help you to understand Agile and understand the Scrum and other framework also we will discuss. So you need not to refer some other videos, and because I will try to keep the things in very simple language. So here the one challenge which I face from the Scrum Master, that sometimes they do not know what matrices they should make, right? Scrum Master के पास एक थोड़ा सा चैलेंज ये होता है कि कौन कौन सी matrices प्रिपेयर करनी चाहिए, कौन कौन सी रिपोर्ट प्रिपेयर करनी चाहिए. Like sometimes they ask that we should prepare for velocity, right? Burn down chart is there, then there is a capacity planning. After that they got confused that which are the matrices that we can take help. Sometimes the question has been asked that how you measure the quality or how you measure the progress of your Scrum team, how you measure the maturity of your Scrum team. So वहाँ पे in that scenario a lot of different matrices that comes or that can help you to let you know that what things should be improved, and these are the matrices which helps you of that. So first, let's understand, people always talk about the difference between matrices and the KPI. So let's understand, the KPI is basically, it gives you the complete view of performance of a different functions in the organization. It basically helps you where the team is standing with respect to the business goal and guide them for any future action which is supposed to take. Might be risk handling or might be for any purpose. Whereas the metrics, if I talk about, so it gives you an image how individual activities or how any action or ceremonies are rolled out within the function and how they are progressing. By referring individual matrices, it is not easy to get any insight, but one thing we can say that what necessary action we need to take, sometimes matrices help on them. All KPIs are matrices, but all matrices cannot be a KPI. So matrices, one thing we can say that they are aligned with your business goal, but what kind of a future action you are going to take, that KPIs can help you, right? So let's talk about, I was telling you the difference between KPI and the matrices, right? So I hope you could understand. One thing I can tell you, every matrix has some role and every matrix has some goal, right? One very beautiful concept I have studied, that there is a role and goal. So matrices comes with option of role and goal, which means they have a role and they are made for some objective, right? They are made for some purpose, every matrix is having. Now one question that comes, that what kind of matrices we need to make, right? It becomes very easy when we go by every Scrum events or the ceremony. So it is very easy for us to understand. Why? Because if I go in one go, what matrices, so usually that comes in our mind, there is a velocity, there is a sprint burn down, there is a burn up, or there is a velocity variance or capacity planning. After that, sometimes we get confused, but it becomes very easy when we understood according to the sprint events, right? According to the ceremonies that we follow. So let's first try to see which are the ceremonies in Scrum. As you know very well that there is a sprint planning, there is a daily scrum, there is a sprint review and retrospective, and they go in the same sequence. Now it will be easy for us to understand from these event perspective that which are the matrices that needs to be prepared by the Scrum Master, or that needs to be prepared in your Scrum. So let's first pick your sprint planning. Sprint planning, as you know, basically it is the sprint goal which is set by your product owner, that what we are going to do, what we are going to achieve in this sprint, and that should be aligned with your business, because from the product backlog, your product owner picks some items, refine them, and bring them in your sprint backlog, right? Refine, if I am saying so, it should be your user story estimation, definition of ready, definition of done, acceptance criteria that should be met, and the user story should be allocated, or the user or the Scrum team should pick, or dev team should pick the user story according to their skills. So one matrix which we can produce here is your sprint goal. What we are going to achieve, which kind of a user story we are going to release in this sprint. That user story is assigned to whom? Who is going to work on that user story? In terms of estimation, we mention the number. Also, if possible, then mention how much time it is going to take, right? So these things we mention in your sprint goal. Now, if I talk about the capacity planning, which is prepared by your Scrum Master, basically capacity planning is nothing but it's a kind of your team engagement. Team engagement, let's suppose any person is going on unplanned leave, right? So you just take a buffer of that and include in your capacity planning. If there is any leave by the organization, or leave from the client side, or anyone is having a planned leave, right? So these things should be mentioned in your capacity planning on day-to-day basis, and the whole capacity should be calculated for the entire sprint, which could be for 2 to 4 weeks, anything as per your project. But most important thing is we need to understand, ideally as an agile coach, I do not recommend that you should go for more than 70% or 75% utilization of capacity. Team capacity. Why I am saying that? Because sometimes your team can get engaged with some training. Sometimes they have a dependency. Sometimes there is a network downtime. So multiple factors are there. So as an ideal Scrum Master, the capacity planning should not utilize more than 75%, which I usually prefer. Next event or next ceremony, if I talk about, so that is your daily Scrum, where we mention about the team velocity, right? And the velocity variance is also that calculated once your sprint has been finished. So team velocity is basically how much user story is going to complete. Velocity, as you know, this tells you that how much user story is completed in particular sprint. Ideally, this metrics should be produced at end of a sprint, but why I prefer to do that on daily basis, because every day the user should come and stamp that. Here I have taken one very beautiful concept that I have used from Waterfall, that's a WBS. When you break your user story into multiple tasks, how much task has been completed, right? So I have prepared one good Excel sheet for that to calculate the team velocity, which I will share in upcoming any of video, where I have broken the user story, right? The estimation point, and then broken the user story to multiple tasks, and on daily basis your dev team comes and stamp that how much task has been completed, what percentage has been completed. So once every task or actions that is needed to complete the user story, once it is done, so user story is considered as a completed, right? And then there is a sprint burn down, which is how much hours has been burned by your team to complete the user story. And third is your cumulative graph. Cumulative graph is nothing but it tells you that how much time it has been taken to pick the user story from your sprint goal, right, to deliver that, right? So that is the purpose of cumulative graph. And apart from that, few other points that we can consider. I mean, it basically tells you that why this is used for, how much time it has been taken to complete, what is the progress, right? And it tells you where it was lacking, what was the reason it has not been delivered. in a given time frame, right? So it tells you the throughput, multiple terms which are used here in cumulative graph, and ideally your Scrum Master should prepare that. And then there is a daily Scrum report which should be prepared by your Scrum Master. In daily Scrum, as you know, that 2 points we discussed: what I have done yesterday, what was the impediment that I have faced, and how I have solved that with the help of any team member, or I have resolved that by my own. What I am going to do today, and what risk or what impediment I am expecting to come in between when I will start working for today. So WBS is nothing but WBS when the first point which I have built, the team velocity, where your user story has been broken into task and how much task has been completed, right? And daily status report should be published by your Scrum Master, sometimes on a Jira dashboard, sometimes individual to the stakeholders, so they should aware what is the current status of your project. Again, this is optional. If you want, you can, but I recommend it should be, because a Scrum Master should get to know on day-to-day basis, instead of that at the last moment Scrum Master is going to know this user story has not been completed. This was the challenge faced by your team. Ideally, when you prepare your daily status report, then your Scrum Master gets aware that this users or can expect that this user story is going to finish in particular sprint or not, or your product owner could aware that this was the sprint goal and where my team is standing at present situation. So these are the 4 matrices that should be produced in your daily Scrum, and 2 in your sprint planning. Let's talk about other ceremonies. So if I say other ceremonies are there is your sprint review. So in a sprint review, basically this event is run by your product owner, right? Where the dev team gets engaged and your Scrum Master facilitate the event and take the feedback, right? So here in sprint planning, your product owner has given the sprint goal, right? But it is not necessary that whatever the user story has been decided to complete in particular sprint has been completed. So might be some scope change, might be some user story has not been completed. So what was the scope change? What new things has been added up, or what user story has not been completed? Those should be mentioned in the scope change, and ideally it should be prepared by your product owner with the help of your Scrum Master. Then there is a backlog health. How much percentage of user stories we have completed from the backlog? You can do one thing, you can club this backlog health with your final report that is produced once your sprint has been finished. But I recommend that backlog health should be produced by your product owner during your sprint review. Then there is escape defect and defect density. Before discussing this third matrix, let me tell you, as an agile coach, I usually recommend there should be 2 quality gates. Now, what are the quality gates? Once your development has been done and your testing team is going to test the user stories, so there is a 1 quality gate. After that, once the testing team has been completed, again, I'm not talking about the manual or automation. Again, once your testing team has been completed, then next testing should be done to integrate with your user story with the previous one, or do the integration testing. That's another quality gate. And also another quality gate where your users come into a picture and they do the testing of user story that has been completed. So escape defect and defect density is basically once the defect has been escaped from previous phase to current phase. And defect density, how much defect has been found in particular users. Again, if I bifurcate, so the standard definition of defect density is that how much defect has been found in particular line of a code. But as a tester or as a Scrum Master, to make it easy, I have changed something here, that per user story, how many defect has been found. Yes, I know I have changed the definition, but it becomes very easy for me to elaborate to the stakeholder, to elaborate the product owner, to elaborate to the client. So any user story, how many defects has been found, that I calculate. Now, one question you can ask, sometimes one user story is big, sometimes the sizing is not same. So how you can calculate that defect density as per user story? So yes, there is another matrix which I have produced for my team, and it takes on the basis of their weightage. Let's suppose any user story which is estimated at 1, and found some 3 defects, right? So how much weightage has been given to each defect, and one user story which is estimated, let's suppose 3 or 5. So and there are 2 defects has been found. So how much weightage has been given? So there is an exact calculation that I have made in my Excel sheet. I have made one matrix for my team. So that tells you what is the defect density, and it should be prepared by your Scrum Master. So 3 matrices which you have seen during your sprint review: scope change, backlog health, and skip defect and defect density, that should be produced here. Now the last ceremony is here, that is your sprint retrospective. In retrospective, as we know, this is a kind of a feedback session which should be done across your Scrum team, where your development team, your testing team, your architect, your product owner, they all come and share their experience. What went well, what should continue, what I have learned what I have done in this sprint, right? So a learning should be documented by your Scrum Master, and also the effort estimation varies. Suppose you have planned something that these tasks or the capacity was that, and it should be completed in this duration, but sometimes the effort changes. So what was the effort variance, right? And also your Scrum Master, with help of your product owner, should send a survey report to your customer, what they have felt during the sprint, how they are going to rate this sprint, what is their feedback for the sprint review, the user stories which was showcased to them, what they are feeling. So there is a satisfaction survey report that should be published, and also there is a CARE analysis, that's a causal analysis and resolution. It should be done by your Scrum Master by taking the input by all the team members, and majorly it goes on a defect. So if we will look at the defect, so we found that if we say that the defect was raised because of requirement was missed, right, or user story was not estimated correctly, or environment was down, or build was not given correctly. So mostly we do on the defect side. So if we will do the CARE analysis, that's a fishbone diagram, we will find there could be a one reason because of that the majority of the defect has been come. That we call as a Pareto analysis. That's a 80-20 rule, that 80% of the defect came because of the 20% reason, right? So that we do. So the next time in upcoming sprint, those points should be taken care, and that could be avoided, right? Or that should be taken care. So basically, if I talk about in a sprint retrospective, there is a learning, there is a effort estimation variance, there is a customer satisfaction survey, and CARE analysis. So these 4 matrices should be produced here. Now, if I talk about these again, let me review that. So if you will look at event or ceremony perspective, it will become a very easy for you to understand what matrices, what report should be produced. If you will go in general and call those matrices, it is not easy. So thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have liked it, please hit on the like button, subscribe the channel, and share the video with your friends. If you have any suggestion, please mention in the below comment. I will definitely work on that, and will make the video in a very easy language, so that can help you to understand the concept very well. So thanks a lot. Enjoy with your family. Take care. Bye bye.